Hello everybody, this is Robipony here, doing another chapter in the reading of 5 Nights at Pinkie's by the Walking Skymon, Chapter 3, Night 2, Get Ready for a Party. I woke up at noon. I'd spent the night with nightmares of those animatronic monsters. I flew over to Pinkie's pizzeria and saw that Fluttershy was preparing the place for something. "Good morning, Flutters. What's going on here?" I asked. "Oh, morning, Jet. I'm preparing for a birthday party," she said. "Whose?" I asked. "Remember little baby Apple Bloom?" she asked. "How could I forget? I remember seeing Apple Bloom as a little filly. She'll be grown up now." I then began to wonder what she would think of me now that I'd been to jail. I noticed Fluttershy was looking at me. "What?" I asked. "Your first night went by well. None of the animatronics were harmed," she said. I looked over to them, and the sight of them gave me a bad feeling. I now looked at our company's mascots in a completely different light now. "Don't you ever get the feeling they could be watching you?" I said. "No, why?" Fluttershy asked. "Nothing, just me asking questions," I said. "Hey Flutters, do you know what this place is like at night?" I asked. "Just like it is now, only dark," Fluttershy said, as if I had asked the dumbest question in the world. "Why?" "Just wondering," I said quietly, like a whisper. "Fluttershy?" I heard a voice from behind me say. I turned around to see a familiar, small, yellow filly running towards us. "Jet?" she said, stopping. "Hey, Apple Bloom," I said. She stared at me for a while, and I thought, she must hate me. "It's okay, Apple Bloom. He's safe," Fluttershy said, as if I was an animal. "I haven't seen you for a long time," I said. "Yeah, went to prison," Apple Bloom said quietly. "Yeah, she hates me." "Yeah, it's okay though. I'm not a bad guy. I won't hurt any pony," I said. Apple Bloom looked at me, and her face seemed a little brighter. She jumped up and hugged me. Haven't seen you forever, Jet. Don't you ever go to prison again," she said. "I won't," I said, hugging her back. "Well, do you like how we've decorated the place for your party?" Fluttershy asked. "I love it," Apple Bloom said, jumping down and starting to jump up and down repeatedly. "Well, that's good. I don't want to disappoint you," Fluttershy said. "Wait, did you get a job here?" Apple Bloom asked me, stopping her jumping spree. "Yeah, I got a job as a night guard," I said. "Cool," Apple Bloom said. "Yeah, cool," I said. I then mumbled under my breath until I get stuffed into one of those suits. "Do you like your job?" Apple Bloom asked. I thought for a bit. "You know what? Ask me that after my 5th shift, okay? Then I'll answer," I said. "I have to work Mondays through Fridays, weekends off." "Awesome!" Apple Bloom jumped up and high-fived me. "When's your party?" I asked. "In 3 days," she said, jumping up and down again. "Then why are you getting ready now?" I asked. "Because I want to see what Apple Bloom wants first, before her party. As I said, I don't want to disappoint her," Fluttershy said. I looked over at the animatronics and waited for them to stare at me like they do in the movies. "Can I see your office?" Apple Bloom asked. "What?" I asked. "My office?" "Yeah, I want to see where you stay when you're working," she said. "Okay," I said, taking one last look at the machines before taking Apple Bloom to my office. I walked into the office and got a little shiver, knowing that next time I would be in here, I'd be fighting to make sure it's not my last. "What's this?" Apple Bloom said, holding the camera tablet in her hooves. "I use it to check the cameras," I said, turning it on. "See?" "Wow!" Apple Bloom said. "And I pushed this button to change between cameras." I pushed one of the buttons to show her. Apple Bloom began pushing all the buttons and stopped at the show stage. And I reeled back at what I saw. "Look, they're looking right at us." Applebloom said. Yeah, they are, I said, recalling the events of last night. The three were staring at us. Their faces were incapable of showing it, but I could swear they were doing their best to flash a menacing grin aimed for me. Applebloom! I heard an unfamiliar voice call out. Babs! Babs! Come in here! Applebloom said. A little bit later, a small filly I had never seen before walked in. What? She said. Applebloom showed Babs a tablet, and they both started playing with it like it was a new shiny toy. I began worrying about if them jacking around with it would cause it to lose some power, putting me in a very screwed position tonight. Girls, how about we stop playing with the camera tablet, please? I need to use this tonight, I said, taking it away. Who are you? Babs said. That's Fluttershy's friend, Jet Black, Applebloom said. Wait, the one that went to prison? Babs said in response. Thanks for the first impression, Applebloom. Yeah, but I was not a bad pony. I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, I said. Babs opened her mouth to say something when Fluttershy walked in. Babs, your parents are here. They're here for you too, Applebloom, she said. Okay, see ya, Jet, Applebloom said, running out the door. Who's Babs? I asked. She's her cousin. She lives in Manhattan, but moved here for Applebloom's birthday. She might be staying here, though, Fluttershy said. I looked at the clock. 6 p.m. I had 6 hours to kill before the animatronics tried to kill me. Well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow, Fluttershy said. Oh, yeah, sure, I said. Say something, you fool, I thought. I wanted to say something, anything, but I just couldn't find the words. I watched as she left, and I mentally kicked myself. You should have said something, you idiot, I said. I looked at the clock and thought about if I got hungry. I left and went to a cafe for as long as I felt was necessary. When I returned, it was 11:58. Perfect. I practically ran past the stage and to my little office and sat on my chair. I looked at the clock. 11:59. I waited, and when the clock struck midnight, my heart jumped. Okay, night 2. Here we go, I said. I was about to turn the cameras on when the phone started ringing again, giving me a mini heart attack. Once the message started playing, I turned the cameras on. Hello? Hey, well, if you're hearing this, then, congrats! You made it to night 2! Yay! Okay, I'm not gonna lie. If you thought that every night will be as easy as the first, you're dead wrong, Flash Sentry said over the phone. I stopped wondering why the kitchen camera was off and stared at the phone. The animatronics will get even quicker as the week progresses, and Pinkie gets that way whenever she hears some pony say, "Party!" during the day, he continued. I looked at the camera and saw Applejack had gone to the closet again. I was beginning to think I didn't really have to worry about Applejack all that much. Yeah, these animatronics are weird, especially that one in Cloud's Cove. She'll come out, but only if you make it to your 3rd night. As I said, weird, he continued on. But don't let Pinkie near you, okay? Keep an eye on her, because if she gets close to you, you're dead. So I would keep an eye on her if I were you. I checked the stage and let out a sigh of relief when I saw Pinkie was still there with Rarity. I checked on Applejack, and big surprise, she was still in the closet. I was starting to think her circuits just might be broken. So just remember to keep an eye on those cameras, and use the lights that your doors have, because your cameras have blind spots, and your doors are one of them. But be conservative with your power, okay? Well, if you do survive and are crazy enough to stay, I guess you'll be hearing from me tomorrow, he said. I looked at the cameras and saw Applejack had moved to the dining area with Rarity. I was starting to think the only one I really had to worry about was Pinkie, if she'd ever get off the stage, that is. The cameras then went black, and I kept my nerve. No need to freak out. I turned on the door lights, and none of them were there. I waited a bit and turned on the cameras. Rarity was in the bathroom, and Applejack was, big surprise, in the closet. I checked the stage and almost had a mini heart attack when I saw Pinkie Pie wasn't there anymore. I searched for her and couldn't find her anywhere. I then stopped at the dining area when I saw two glowing dots in the darkness. I figured they were Pinkie, which was pretty terrifying. I turned off the camera and checked my left door light. Nothing. I checked the one on the right and saw Rarity at the hole in the wall again and shut the door. I looked at the clock and checked how much power I had. 3 a.m., 40% power. I groaned and let my head fall back. I had enough power to make it through the night, but I just wished it was over already. I turned on the camera and saw Applejack had moved. I checked the door on the left and she wasn't there. I checked the west hallway and she was just standing there. I was okay. I would prepare myself when she's at the corner. I turned the camera in the dining room on and Pinkie wasn't there. I checked everywhere and found her in one of the stalls. Weird, I said. I checked the clock and it was 4 a.m. and I had 30% power. I started thinking about what this Flash Sentry guy said about the job getting harder as the week went on and thought it was just a bunch of crap. I checked for Applejack and she wasn't at the West Hall anymore. I checked the door light and shut it when I saw her there. I was checking the cameras and saw I was running out of power quickly as I went from 30% to 50% in a short while. I turned off the cameras and checked the door lights. Still there, both of them. I watched as the power went down pretty fast. 15%, 14%, 13%. If they didn't move, then I would run out of power. I would check the clock and it rang 6 a.m. Thank Fiost, I said under my breath. I checked if they were still there and opened the doors when they weren't. I waited a while for them to return to their positions and ran out. But before I could leave, I stopped next to the door that leads to the backstage. I stared through the open door and didn't move. I faintly heard something in my ear, as if some pony was whispering something in my ear. The next thing I knew, I was outside of the building in the blink of an eye. Why was I staring in that room? I asked.